Welcome back to Velshine Rule. The Trump administration is expected to finalize the repeal of an Obama-era rule designed to keep the nation's water supply clean. The 2015 Waters of the United States rule limited chemicals that could be used near about 60% of the nation's bodies of water. The Environmental Protection Agency will write a new rule that would federally regulate fewer bodies of water. President Trump often says clean water is a big priority, and he brags about the country's water.
From day one, my administration has made it a top priority to ensure that America is among the very cleanest air and cleanest water on the planet. We want the cleanest air. We want crystal clean water, and that's what we're doing. Today, the United States is ranked, listen to this, #1 in the world for access to clean drinking water. Ranked #1 in the world. We have the cleanest water. It's crystal clean, and I always say I want crystal clean water and air.
We don't all have the cleanest water in the United States. We actually have major cities that have water problems. Flint, Michigan.
Newark, New Jersey, Flint, Michigan.
All right, Jake Levine is joining us now. He's former energy and climate aide to President Obama. Who wins? I always wonder with these things, specifically as they do with to regulation and climate regulation, who wins because of this?
Well, Ali, I mean, the easy answer here is that nobody wins. I mean, look, this was a rule in 2015 that was born out of an incredibly robust scientific process, 1,200 plus peer-reviewed scientific published reports, over 1 million public comments reviewed, hundreds of meetings at EPA, and it was grounded in the science when EPA said we are going to protect tributaries, streams, wetlands that flow downstream into our nation's drinking water supply. And, you know, this was a rule that protected the drinking water supply for over a third of Americans. That's something like 120 million Americans who now will not have the same protections afforded to their supply of drinking water.
The rationale, and obviously I don't want a cynical one, but what is the rationale behind doing this? Because there's no way the Trump administration would say, yep, we're trying to make the water dirtier. So how are they justifying this?
Well, I think that you hear a lot about, reducing red tape and paperwork and bureaucracy for businesses, for farmers. But the fact is that for this rule, it didn't change how agricultural businesses and industries had to approach the Clean Water Act and their compliance. And frankly, in the status quo prior to the 2015 rule, what we had was a situation with a very unclear set of Supreme Court rulings that basically led to a series of case-by-case analyses where almost any water could have been reviewed under the Clean Air Act in a lengthy, litigious, costly case-by-case analysis. And so one of the main goals of the Obama rule was to actually create certainty for business, for farmers, for agriculture. And I think that you see this type of dynamic playing out not just here on the Clean Water Act in the Trump administration, but across a whole set of rules where the Obama administration sets out to create certainty, regulatory stability, and the Trump administration comes in and undoes that. And now when this rule is repealed, we'll go back to those case-by-case analyses, which will draw out a number of the reviews of the types of waters that business is seeking to protect.
Jake, while we got you here, I've spent the better part of the last 2 weeks dealing with Hurricane Dorian in various places. The Internal Displacement Monitoring Center reports that natural disasters displaced a record 7 million people from their homes in the first half of this year alone. There are a lot of ways to figure out how climate change affects you, but this seems to be one that we're all very clear on. There are more fires, more droughts, more floods, and more severe hurricanes.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, I think that as we continue to live through this unfolding crisis, we're seeing the way that plays out on the ground. And I think, just by the way, to take this back to the ruling today, or the decision in the Trump administration today to repeal this rule, wetlands, which were protected under this rule, provide a critical buffer against those precise types of impacts. And so the short-sightedness of this administration to sort of sacrifice the types of protections that, as you well know from covering Hurricane Dorian, we will need in the future as millions of Americans are seeking refuge, it just makes no sense.
Hey, MSNBC fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down there and click on any of the videos here to watch the latest interviews and highlights. You can get more MSNBC for free every day with our newsletters. Just visit msnbc.com/newsletters to sign up now.